Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and in this uh, installment here, I guess that's what we'll call it, in this live wine stream, we're going to open a 2017 Zinfandel that I picked up at winestore-online.com. Actually, I purchased it at our local wine store in Blakeney, North Carolina. We're going to try this one out. I have seen it before many times, and I have been wanting to try this wine out, but there's so many other wines. So many wines, so little time, right? So tonight we're going to go ahead and try this one. I was sort of on the fence because I wanted to try this one, and then I wanted to try a Jovino, which was a Pinot Noir that I had tasted some time back. And I sort of put off purchasing one of those because I thought, well, I'll get to one of those later. I purchased both, and then for the last couple of nights I've been sort of on the fence, which one to try. And it wasn't until about 7:30 this evening when I was working on some of my show notes and things that I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and open the Saldo because I've been wanting to do it. And we'll try the Jovino for another time. It's actually sitting over there. And that's what we're going to do tonight. This should be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. Also tonight, I have some food that I'm going to try to pair with it, and we'll see how it pairs, or if it pairs with that type of food at all. We'll find out, and we'll have some fun. We're going to toast some birthdays, some anniversaries, and I'm going to congratulate one of my friends for kind of a milestone that he hit, and I think it's one that's definitely worth celebrating. Of course, you can watch us live right here on Facebook and on our Facebook page at Drink with Rick. You can watch us on our YouTube channel at Drink with Rick. We're also now, for the second time, streaming live on Twitch, and we are also at drinkwithrick.com. Now, you can join us in the chat, and we have folks in the chat now, and I definitely want to talk to you here, but we're going to I want to let you know, first of all, that the chat right now is limited to Facebook and YouTube, and I will be checking those chats. I do have the chat open in Twitch. I don't know if we'll get anyone in the Twitch stream or not. We'll see. I also have Twitter open, so if you want to tweet me on Twitter, we can do that. You can tweet me at drinkwithrick, of course. But I do not have a live chat going on the website. So if you want to chat with me, you can open up the website, drinkwithrick.com, watch it live, and then you can chat with me maybe either on YouTube or on Twitter if you like. Or you can just email me, or you can leave some comments in the comments section in that, on that page at Drink with Rick. So there are a lot of ways to get in touch with me. Of course, you can also email me at rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com. So many ways to get in touch with me and also to talk with me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all my friends here on the wine stream. I'm glad you're all here. Let's check and see who's in the chat first. Jonathan's in the chat. Hi, Jonathan. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. And Matt is also in the chat. Matt says, "Hey, Rick," and hi right back at you. It's great to have you here. And tell me what you're drinking. I understand you were drinking. I think you were drinking Zinfandel last week, weren't you? If I remember correctly. But let me know what you're drinking. What's going on? My beautiful wife Chi is also in the chat. And my sister Gina is in the chat tonight. Gina's she's a pretty regular. I think you missed the one last week, which was a lot of fun, Gina, but hopefully you'll stick around for this one. Tell me what you're drinking. Gina says, I'm on Facebook, but definitely twitching. Okay, well, I'm going to keep up with Twitch here. I'll be switching back and forth between Twitch and hopefully we won't lose any of the stream, because sometimes with all this going on, we do have a limited amount of bandwidth, and I do tell before I start the stream, I tell everybody, hey, no streaming, no downloading anything heavy, because I've got a lot going on here. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, maybe if I think about it. Somebody reminds me. Jonathan says, "Hey Rick, it's great to see Jonathan once again." And Gina says, "I'm drinking a Dow Cabernet." I've heard that is a good one. Trish is in the chat. Trish, is great to see you. And Trish, and you know what? Who was it that that recommended the Saldo or the Jovino to me before? And I think it was either Trish or Molly over there at Wine Store. But I've got that there, and I know. I said I was going to open the what was that? The Overstone. I was going to open that, but I opted for one of the reds tonight, and I have something that should go well with the red. So we'll see how it works. I also, let me see if we have anybody in the, okay, no one in YouTube. I don't expect too much in the YouTube chat usually, but it's, it's okay. It's okay. Let me close one of these up. There we go. I'm trying to ease up on a lot of the bandwidth here so we can get as much of it out to you as possible. All right, now, was there something else I was going to mention? Yes, I was going to mention what we're going to have. Now, this is the Saldo. In fact, let me go ahead and put that up. I'm going to show you what we're drinking tonight. This is a Saldo. This is a 2017 vintage. This is a California Zinfandel, and this is from the, what is this, the winery here. This is the Saldo, this is the same winery that makes the Prisoner. If you've heard of the Prisoner wines, that is the same winery does the Prisoner, and also I believe the Pessimist. And we have had the Pessimist on before. We opened up and tasted the Pessimist way back in, let's see, it was one of the, I think it was about 10 episodes ago. And I really enjoyed that wine. And it was very much like, now I have a bottle of the Prisoner. I do have a bottle of the Prisoner that I've just never opened. I've been saving it for a special occasion. But the Pessimist I opened, and it was very very I understand that the Pessimist is kind of a budget version of the Prisoner, but also it's a little reminiscent of the Prisoner wine. So I'll take everyone's word for that, because I'm saving the Prisoner for a very special occasion. But the Pessimist I liked, and if the Saldo is any indication of what, or if it's anything similar to the Pessimist, this should be a good wine to try. Let me give a shot of the backside, and we'll, if I can get it over there. Here we go. This is the backside. I know there's not much to the front. As you can see, it looks like a sort of a Dymo label sort of badge on the front. On the backside, there's not a whole lot to that either, except it just says it's a 2017 California Zinfandel, bottled by the Prisoner Wine Company in Oakville, California. It is 15.5% alcohol by volume in a 750 milliliter bottle. So that's a fairly high alcohol content for some of these wines, but it's not the highest I've seen by any means. And I've been searching around on some of the websites and about this wine, getting a little background on this wine, and I have seen it, the 2017 vintage. I've seen one or two of these places posting 15.9% alcohol. Now, as I've said before, the posted alcohol content on the bottle is not necessarily what you're really getting. And I have been told in the past that the alcohol content, the actual alcohol content, can be considerably higher than that. I don't know. I'm busy drinking it. I can't vouch for that. I can't deny that's true. I don't know. But all I know is that if it's good wine and there's alcohol in it, that works for me. Okay, that works for me. So let me get back to the chat for just a moment. See if we have anyone. Okay, no one in there. Matt says, Gina says, uh-oh, you're in trouble. Oh, I missed some of this a little bit. Let's see. Trish says, hi, Rick. Matt says, had a 2008 Anderson's Con Valley Reserve Cabernet and a 2003 JJ Prom Okay, Riesling tonight. Oh, that's good. That's good. And Gina says, "Uh-oh, you're in trouble." I'm not sure exactly what she's referring to. Maybe it's the alcohol content in the wine. Or maybe she's responding to Matt. Matt says, always. Anyway, let me go ahead and see what we can do to open this now. Now, of course, I have a bottle of water with me, and I'll have a little bit of that right now. Clear my palate a little bit, and also to go with the wine tonight. And I know my sister Penny was last week. She was, it took me a long time to get around to what it was I was going to pair with this. And when I finally brought it out, she was just going, finally. It took me that long because I was busy yakking away. But this is what I have tonight. My wife Chi, my beautiful wife Chi, made a really, really nice spaghetti with red tomato sauce, with tomato sauce on it, and a meatball. I've got that on there, and then I'm also going to put some Parmesan cheese on it. Also, I have to pair with this are some crackers, partially to, well, not those, but partially to clear the palate, and some more Parmesan cheese, a cookie, of course. Don't tell Chi I'm eating this. Oh, well, a little late now, isn't it? Hi, honey. So one cookie, that's my limit, one cookie. And this in the middle is a very interesting salami. It's a beer salami that my wife purchased when she was up visiting in Minnesota last week with my daughter Tia. Let me clear these crackers off got cracker everywhere now. This is an interesting salami. Let me I didn't take a picture of this beforehand, but it's a beer salami, and it's shaped like a bottle of beer. River West Stein Amber Lager Beer Salami. And this it contains beef, salt, dextrose, spices, sugar, lactic acid, starter culture, garlic, sodium ascorbate, and sodium nitrite. All the stuff that's probably not really good for you, but we're going to try a little bit of it and see how it works. So without any further ado, oh, hey, and Ron's joined us in the chat. Ron, it's great to see you. Good to see you. Stick around. Tell me what you're drinking, or tell me what you'd like to be drinking. Gina says you're in trouble because of the alcohol content and you're going to finish the bottle. Oh, you think so? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to pace myself on this for a couple of reasons. I'm really trying to pace myself on this. One, I'm trying to get back, keep my weight down a little bit. And two, last week, Gina, I don't think you're in the stream last week, but Penny was. We had a very lively stream, and I went about 2 hours, a couple of minutes over my other 2-hour stream that I did a few weeks before that, and I pretty much finished that bottle, and I said I wasn't going to. And I felt it in the morning. So I'm going to try to avoid that this time because it never feels good in the morning. So, as I'm sure you know. Anyway, we're going to open this up, and I've got my foil cutter here. We've got that off. And of course, to open this bottle of wine, I have my handy bottle opener, my handy corkscrew. This is great. My wife, Chi, bought it for me. If you've never seen this before, Chi purchased it for me. She got it at a garage sale for $5, but I did some research on it, and it was sold by Aldi, I believe, but in Britain, in Great Britain. So apparently it was whoever owned it she got it from an estate sale is what she did, and so whoever owned it in Britain brought it over here and then sold it to my wife, who gave it to me. This is really cool. It's just opens up like this. Nice contraption. Came out quite easily actually, and of course to get the cork out of there. It's always a little awkward because I'm sitting down doing this. I really should be standing up doing it, but this was actually a pretty easy cork to get out, so I think it should be all right. And to help this wine along, I have my trusty Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set, which, by the way, is available from Amazon, and you can actually go to my website at drinkwithrick.com and you'll see it there. You can click on it if you want to purchase one. If you do, that would be great, because I'll make a few cents off of it, a few pennies from Amazon, and it'd be great. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But I appreciate your support. And I'm going to pour it into my Cooper's Hawk genuine crystal glass from the Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant in Orlando, Florida. One of my favorite glasses. So we're going to give this a good pour. Aerate the wine a little bit. We'll just pour a little bit into the glass first, and we'll give it a good swirl and see. And I've got to be careful about this because I've done it a couple of times, right over the keyboard. So get a little exuberant swirling this wine, right? Well, let's see. We'll give it some air. And of course it has, you see the little rivulets floating down a little bit. It's probably, they're coming down. I don't know if you can see them. There you go. It should be high in alcohol. I can smell it from here, actually. I can smell it. And before we go into, let me air it off just a minute. I want to go back to the wine and tell you what the pricing was on this. I purchased my bottle. It's available from winestore-online.com. That's where I purchased mine, and they have it online for $22.99 a bottle. I've been searching around, and I've seen it from between I think on the Prisoner Wine Company site they had it listed for $32. So that's a little bit less expensive than that. Let's see who else is it. Wine.com had it listed for, I think, I'm trying to remember, it was $22.99. They had it $32, and it was marked out, and now it's $22.99. I've seen it. Let's see. Vivino has it listed on their site for $19.98, which is pretty close. So overall, I think it's about the $20 mark. So I think $22.99 I think is probably pretty reasonable price point across the board. It seems to be about what it's going for. 32, I don't know. We'll have to taste the wine and see. But we'll go ahead and try this. And let me get back to where I was before. And now this is supposed to have some berry notes and a lot of different things. It's supposed to be a little more complex. And of course, it is a Zinfandel. And I can smell quite a few things in it. Berries, of course, and it smells a little flowery. I don't know if that's just my nose, or if that's something that people say that's really what it's supposed to be. But it does smell a little bit flowery to me. A lot of fruit. And, of course, the cherry, as I mentioned, and it smells, let's give it a taste. Spicy, rather a little bit spicy on the spicy side. Cherry. Some good tannins in it. Some good tannins, not overpowering, but and not too light. And, I'd say that the tannins are good. And it does have a bit of a lingering finish to it. It's not. It doesn't go. It's kind of a lingering finish, but I can taste a little hint of. I think I taste a hint of chocolate. some plum, I think. Some plum. I think this is a very fruity wine. It's a very, very fruity wine. And for Zin, it's it dries in, but the tannins are good. Oh yeah, yeah, I like this. It once again it kind of stays in the mouth a little bit. It does have a nice bouquet, but it's smooth. It's a little silky. I don't know. It's very smooth. It's very. I like it. I like it very much. Let's see if we got anyone else in the chat. Okay, nobody on YouTube. And I did promise I would check in on Twitch. Don't see much going on Twitch. Let's go back to Facebook because I think that's where everybody is tonight. I like this wine. It's kind of dark. I would say that I think on their site they said it's full body, but it looks a little medium bodied to me. It doesn't look. It doesn't taste real heavy, but it's not real light. I want to say it's somewhat maybe kind of full body, medium body. I like it, but I do like the finish. It's very very smooth wine, and it does seem to kind of hang around for a bit. It doesn't just. It does. I like it. I like it. I think Matt, you've got another winner here. I know you've been selling this. I've been seeing it on in the store for quite a bit, and I did try it, just a little taste, and I kind of liked it. So I went ahead and said, I really have to try this on the wine stream. But of course, everyone knows, as I always say, you can't really tell a good wine until you get down into the bottle. And I think that's what Gina wants me to do tonight, is to get down into the bottle. And I think she wants me to get down all the way into the bottle. My sister, I think that's why they like to watch the stream. They like to see me drink it all and see the results of that. But like I said, I think I'm going to temper this a little bit tonight, probably not going too long. I do want to try this and see how it pairs with the pasta. Zinfandel's pastas, now pastas with tomato sauces like this, and you know what, let me put a little cheese on this too. They, interesting watching me eat, right? Eat, drink, and there we go. I'll have a lot of. I love cheese, and so I like a lot of cheese on my pasta. And I have a fork this time, so we're going to try a little bit of this. Now this is cold. I didn't heat this up before I came upstairs because it doesn't fare too well if I heat it up first, and then I hang around on the wine stream all night, and then it's no good. So I'm sort of having to eat this cold, and of course I'm not getting a really good twirl on it because I'm just taking a little taste of this. It's you can't really do that with spaghetti. You can't do that with pasta. You've got to twirl it on the fork and really take a big mouthful, right? And that's what I'm doing. This is very good, by the way. It does enhance the flavor of the sauce somewhat, and it does work well with the pasta. I will say, but that's no big surprise. That's not a surprise to me because when it comes to pastas like this, usually you want to pair it with something like a Cab or Merlot or a Pinot or a Zinfandel, something like that. That's a good. Those are all good things to pair them with. Sometimes I pair it with a Chianti. It's all good red wines to pair it with. And let's see. Matt says nice pairing with the spaghetti. Or Primitivo, Zin's Italian cousin. or ancestor. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And we're going to try pairing it with a couple other things. Now, with the spaghetti, we have a mix of things in the spaghetti, mostly tomato sauce, and of course we put a lot of cheese on there, and the pasta itself. We're going to try it with just a little bit of cheese, a little bit of the Parmesan. And I don't know what to expect from this, to be honest. Except that I'm going to enjoy drinking this. Interesting mix. Okay, it's not bad. I think I would drink it with this, with Parmesan or another, say like a Romano or something like that, before I would drink it with, say, maybe something a little smokier, like a I don't know, like a provolone or something like that. I do have the beer salami. I'm taking a chance on this because these are kind of spicy. I don't know if this is really gonna. This is a spicier meat. This might work better with. I don't know. It might work better with. Monferrato or the tradition or something. I don't know. Let's give it a try. I think it goes better with the pasta. Let me have a cracker to clear the palate. It's not bad. I think it works better with the pasta than the beer salami. I think that goes better with beer, actually. The cracker's neutral, so we're good there. I'll try the cookie later. Something, it's a chocolate chip cookie, so something a little sweet, chocolatey stuff. Sometimes what they do is they'll make those dessert wines with something like a Zinfandel or something like that with chocolate and Gina says, yes, same DNA, and I think she's responding to Matt. We're talking about the Primitivo, the Zinfandels. Jonathan says cold beer. Yes, I think this salami would go really, really good with a cold beer. Maybe a good IPA. I think an IPA would go. I think it would go good with. I like dark lagers myself. I like really dark beers, but my boss likes. He loves IPAs, and IPAs are good sometimes. I do. I like a good IPA. Some of the craft beers that they have in the local area, they really like to do the IPA thing, and I think that salami will probably go good with any of those. It's beer, right? No, actually, beer is not always just beer. It's when you get into the craft beers, there really are some serious differences there. It's just like the wine. There are some very. Maybe I ought to do beer stream one of these nights, right? But right now we're doing the wine stream. This is about wine, not beer, so we're gonna talk about wine. If you want to, you can talk about beer. I mean, if that's what you're drinking, that's good. Jonathan said, Matt says cold beer. Yes, very cold beer. Absolutely. And Jonathan says, Heist would be great. Well, I'm losing my train of thought here for a second, but I was going to start talking about beer again. But this is a wine stream, so we'll kind of stay. Yeah, go ahead. If you want to talk about beer, you can talk about beer. That's fine. We can talk about beer. It's good. Beer, wine. As long as it's as long as it's in the same general vein, it's good. And you know what? Both of them pair with different foods. My wife does a wonderful peanut. She does a roasted peanut that she mixes with garlic, and she roasts it in olive oil, and then it's just rich. But everybody loves her peanuts, everybody in the neighborhood. And we do, as a matter of fact, my friends, and I've talked about them before, my friends Mark and Kathy Miller, they do a house concert about every 3-4 weeks. And They're doing one, I think, was it on the 17th, 19th. I have to go check, but she will often make a big batch of these roasted peanuts and take them over, and everybody just loves them. We've had them here before. I did it one night on Wine Stream. I had some of her roasted peanuts. I tell you what, with a beer, with a very cold, it doesn't even have to be cold beer, although cold is better, those peanuts are just perfect with a cold beer. They really are. I love it. They're really great. Let's see what we have here. Oh, yes. Of course, the review on the wine, I like it. I think it's definitely worth the whatever the $20 to $23 that it would cost. $32. If you have the money to spend, sure. But I think 22 is a good, probably the right price for this wine. I think that's what I would go with. We have some birthdays tonight, a few of them, and I want to start toasting people because that's what we do on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. We toast birthdays and anniversaries, and I was actually going to bring up the days of the whatever the holidays of the week or the days coming up, the national days, I should say, and I didn't. I completely forgot to do it, so we're not doing that tonight. But I do have some birthdays. First of all, and I don't know if she's in the chat right now, but Jonathan says wine opening up yet? Yes, it is. It really is, and actually this is the aerator helps definitely, but it is starting to open up, and it really is. It does smell a little more flower. I mentioned that at the very beginning. It seemed to have some flowery notes to it, but it really does. There are really some nice aromas to this wine. There really are. And I'm making a mess here. Look at that. Yeah, well, I don't have anything to clean myself up with. Well, it hasn't started kicking in yet, but I think it will shortly as I get down into this bottle. So we'll have some more of this. And much to Gina's delight, I'm sure she'll really appreciate that. Birthdays. The first birthday I want to toast tonight, is for my good friend Megan. Megan, I work with her at bytowyradios.com, and she works in sales, and she is just a fun. She's a lot of fun. She's just a fun person, and we all have a lot of fun there in the office. And she's just a fun person to be around. And her birthday is tomorrow, Sunday, and I want to toast her. Here's to Megan. To Megan, I want to say, I'm not going to, I think I know your age, but I'm not going to mention it because I'm a gentleman. But here's to you again. And if she's not in the chat right now, she will probably watch this a little bit later because it is her birthday. And she said she was going to try to make the chat, but it is her birthday, and she's going to be doing some partying. So no doubt that's really what she's doing now. She's probably going to catch this later. So let me toast her one more time just so she won't miss it. Happy birthday, Megan. She's a good friend of mine, and she's always a pleasure to have around the office. She's really a nice person. Also, we have birthdays. Let me see. I had some other birthdays here. But you know what? Let me go back to... there's some birthdays coming up, too. You know, my son Tommy, his birthday's at the end of the month. A lot of birthdays in September. His birthday's at the end of the month. Also, we have my sister Penny. Her birthday is coming up, too. So we're going to... I think I'm going to do a nice little birthday celebration for my sister Penny. So we'll do that, just like I did for Gina back in May. So we'll do something special for Penny and my son Tommy. That'll be a lot of fun. Anniversaries, though, I do want to mention my good friend Cheryl and Alan. And I go way back with Cheryl. When we were kids, we all went to the same church, and we all, our families all knew each other. And I wanted, their anniversary. They're having their wedding anniversary. Like they're having it now, I believe. But they've been married, Cheryl and Alan have been married for 37 years. 37 years. And I think, as I mentioned before, I think that 37 years is quite an accomplishment, especially these days. In these times, being married for 37 years is definitely worth celebrating. And I'm going to celebrate that. Cheryl, and Cheryl's a sister of my friend Jack, Jack Miller, and Jack and I have been friends since we were young in school, and he's great. He's a great guy, and I want to say to his sister Cheryl and her husband Alan, I want to say happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to both of you. 37 years of marriage. It's definitely worth another toast. Toasting is not an excuse, okay, for drinking wine. It's a reason. That's a big difference. This is a reason for drinking wine, right? But happy anniversary, and I hope you have many, many more, Cheryl and Alan. Happy anniversary to both of you. Oh, Molly's in the chat. Molly's great to see you. And Molly was, she and Trish were saying, yeah, Saldo, it's good to try. They are both very knowledgeable in their wines. And if you get a chance to go up to the wine store in Blakeney, North Carolina, check them out. Tell them I sent you. And Molly, they're great people. Molly and Trish, and I'm not being paid to say this. I'm not a shill for Wine Store. I just like to go there and shop there because they are really great. I met another guy this past Thursday night. They do a wine tasting every Thursday night, and I met another nice gentleman. His name was Rick, also, and we were talking about, and they were just gushing over the fact that they could go in the wine store. And Molly and Trish, they knew everybody's names. They knew what they liked for their wines, and they're very, very personable. And they can, you go in there, and it's almost like being home. It's almost like being home. It's just a really nice atmosphere. Now, the wine store is kind of a little hole in the wall, so to speak, but it doesn't really need to be a big place. It's not, hey, I like to shop at some of the places like Harris Teeter and the Total Wine and places like that, really, really big stores. This is it's a small place, but I think that's where part of the charm is. It's just very, very personable. You go in, they say hi to you when you walk in the door, how you doing? And when they're having the tastings, they're right there saying, hey, try this one. And they tell you about the wines. You can ask them anything about the wines, and they'll tell you what what the download is on these wines. They know their stuff. They're very, very knowledgeable about the wines, but they're also very, very nice people. They're just very nice people. And I want to say, here's to you, Trish and Molly. You work very hard there, and you take care of all of your customers. It's just a fabulous place to go visit. So, and they have several locations in the Charlotte area. I'll be honest, the Blakeney one's the only one I've been to, so that's the only one I can really review. But I'll have to say that they've taken care of me every time I've been in there. They've taken good care of me. As a matter of fact, when my sister Gina, when she was going to have her birthday, and it was coming up pretty close, and I was trying to get some wine shipped out there, and they really took good care of me and made sure that the wines got to her within a reasonable period of time for her birthday, for the birthday celebration that we're going to do here. But once again, this is for all of you. Let's see, who else we say? Let's see. Molly says, hello, Rick. It's Matt's wedding anniversary today, too. His wife is Margaret, just an FYI. Seriously? Really? Sir, are you seriously? Well, we definitely have to toast that, right? I don't know if I have enough left in this bottle to do that much toast. I'm just kidding. There's plenty left in the bottle. I would just say, definitely, Matt, I did not know it was your wedding anniversary. To Matt and his wife, Margaret. I've never met his wife, Margaret, to be honest, but I do know Matt. I've met Matt, and he's a really nice guy, and he knows his stuff about wine, too. Matt and Margaret, happy anniversary. How long have you been married, Matt? Let's see. Jonathan says, Rick, can we toast 2 anniversaries? Matt and Margaret, September 10th, and Jonathan and Courtney, September 11th. By all means, Jonathan. Jonathan, your anniversary is very, very close to that, right? 10th and 11th. Wow. And Matt says, it's a celebration. It certainly is. Wow, I really have... I should have opened 2 bottles, huh? I should have opened 2 bottles. This is going to be a long celebration, isn't it? Well, I want to hear more about this because the 10th, let's see. So Matt and Margaret, once again, Matt and Margaret, here's to you. Happy anniversary. Definitely happy anniversary, September 10th. That's, when is that? Wednesday? 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's Tuesday, I think. So that would be, the 10th would be, let's see, Tuesday. Okay. And, forgot to hit the record button on this. So I think it's a Tuesday. So and Matt says 12 years, very good, Matt. I commend you both. Yeah, I'm going to toast you again. 12 years. Happy anniversary to Matt and Margaret. Happy anniversary, 12 years. Very good. I hope you have many, many, many more. And Jonathan, you said that that you and your wife Courtney, that's you and your wife Courtney, they're September 11th? Well, happy anniversary. We've got to toast that too, don't we? Because that's the Wednesday. So happy anniversary to Jonathan Courtney. Happy anniversary to you both. I hope. And how long has it been for you, Jonathan? How many? Yeah, I'm in trouble. Theirs is the 8th, and mine's the 10th. Now, did you get married? Now, did you all get married in the same year, close to the same time, or was it different years? It's different years for all of you. That's that should be interesting. I've known of brothers and sisters and twins that have been like married. You hear that in the news occasionally. You get that brothers or sisters or twin brothers and twin sisters. I think there was even I think a couple of years back I was reading something about a set twin brothers that married a set of twin sisters. And they all decided to have their wedding day on the same day. So they all got married at the same time. I think it's a true story. I heard on the news. I don't think that was fake. But let's see. Jonathan says 14 years for us. Okay, Jonathan. Well, once again, Jonathan, happy anniversary to you both for 14 years. That's really cool. So Jonathan Courtney, 14 years, and Matt and let's see, you said it was 12 years. I think that's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, Matt and Margaret for 12 years, I believe. Okay, so really, may you all have very many happy, more happy. Yeah, it's starting to kick in, isn't it? Time for more wine. Years of marital bliss. Also, there's one other person that I want to congratulate this is more of a congratulatory thing. I want to congratulate my good friend Phil. My good friend Phil Bond. He don't laugh. No, this is serious stuff. He paid off 6 years of making payments on his car. He paid off his car this week. He paid off his car. Now I'm going to toast this because this is serious stuff. I mean, when you go into debt for a car is not like a house where it's considered kind of an asset, although it's kind of an asset. But a car is more of it depreciates over time. So when you buy a car and you're making payments on that car, you're kind of chained to that car for how many years. Been there, done that many, many times. As a matter of fact, my wife Chi and I are still making car payments on a car that we bought for her last year. So I've been there, done that. I know that very well. I know what it feels like. And Phil has if I'm not mistaken, he has a Ford Fusion, which I also do. And we paid off my Ford Fusion about a year or two ago, and I tell you what, it is the greatest feeling in the world. It really is. Just to get out of debt, and make that last car payment, and know that car is yours, free and clear. That's just a fantastic feeling. It really is. And I want to congratulate my friend Phil for making his last car payment on his Ford Fusion. I've been there. I know what that feels like. Congratulations, Phil. This is for you. Congratulations. I hope it lasts for many, many years to come. Fords are actually pretty good cars. They're pretty decent cars. My wife and I've been a Ford owner for a long, long time. My first Ford was Ford Probe. I had a Ford Probe, and don't laugh because it was actually a pretty cool car back in the day. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, the Ford Probe was a really good car, and of course they don't make them anymore. But it was I really that was one of my favorite. That was the first car that I bought that was pretty much almost new. I've owned a lot of cars in my day, from real rattle traps to basically cars that were just not. They were definitely not date cars, if you know what I mean. Now I think you do. But the Ford Probe. Now I met my wife when I had my Ford Probe, and we traveled a lot in that Probe. It was a good car. And I paid off that Probe, and I had it for a number of years, and I just loved that car. It was a great car. And when my wife Chi and I got married, our first real car that we owned together was a Ford. What was it? It was a Chi. It was a little Ford. It was an Escort, right? It was a little Ford Escort. And we had that car for 10 years. We paid that off, had it for about 10 years until we sold it. Basically, we drove it till it fell apart, literally, because we just drove it all over the place. I drove it a lot. I kind of took the car from Chi when she went on to another vehicle, and I used it for my computer business for a while until I got a van, and I just drove that thing to death till pretty much till it almost literally fell apart. So it was a great car. I've really enjoyed owning Fords. Chi has kind of gravitated towards Toyotas, which is fine. Toyotas are good cars, but I purchased when we moved here, and I purchased a Ford Probe, 2010 Ford Probe, and then I upgraded to a 2014, and that's the car I'm driving now. When I finally got that paid off, it was just the greatest feeling in the world. And that car, I've got over 80,000 miles on it because I drive from here to Rock Hill, from South Charlotte to Rock Hill every day. That's in South Carolina, over the border, 5 days a week. And I've driven that car. I'm just hopefully that car will last me a while, but it's been a very, very good vehicle for me so far. I like Fords, and they're good cars. Phil, I think that car will serve you well for many, many years. Enjoy being debt free from that car. It is the greatest feeling in the world. Here's to you. Let's check the chat here. Let's see. What do we have here? All right. Jonathan was talking 14 years from us. Yeah, we did do that. What else we got going? I haven't checked the chat in YouTube lately, and nothing going on YouTube. That's not surprising. People are watching. We've got some people watching in YouTube, but nobody really actually posting. Don't be shy. Tell me what's going on. And Twitch, too. We're just trying Twitch for the second time, live stream. I know some of my fellow podcasters also live stream on Twitch, and with mixed results, because Twitch was really more designed for the gamers. I'm not really so much a gamer. My son Tommy is, and of course he does his gaming and pop culture podcast, the Cube Command podcast, and so he uses Twitch and some of the other platforms like that. But I'm just trying for the second time, so I don't really expect much from Twitch, but we'll see. If you're in Twitch, I'm keeping an eye on it, so don't be shy. Tell me what's going on. Let's see, what else do we have here? I want to mention that I really, last week we were talking a little bit, just briefly, about the weather, as we do sometimes. In particular, the hurricane that just passed through, Hurricane Dorian. And, it's funny, when I think of Dorian, I think, people say, what kind of a name is Dorian? When I think of Dorian, I think of that movie, The Picture of Dorothy, the Picture of Dorian Gray, the book and the movie, The Picture of Dorian Gray. And if you're not familiar with the book or the movie, the story, then, check it out. It's a classic. But Dorian the Hurricane, that is actually as last I heard, it's in Canada. It's coming up to Canada now, and it's back up. I think it was supposed to be back up to Category 2 when it made landfall in Canada again. So for all my Canadian friends, I want to say I hope you stay safe, and watch out for Dorian. Dorian has been a monster, and it has packed quite a punch. The Bahamas down there, they really got hammered really, really bad. The East Coast, Florida got kind of, they want to say they dodged a bullet, but really they took a little bit of a hit on the side. But North Carolina, particularly our state here in North Carolina, when it made landfall again, I think up towards the top of the state there on the coast, and we took a hit here in the state there. Now we are farther inland. We're in Charlotte, so we really didn't see any of that weather. But I know that a lot of our people on the coast took a hit. It was not good. So I want to say I really feel bad for you guys. I want to say that I know that the recovery efforts at this point and the aftermath, the cleanup and everything like that is I feel for you, and I want to toast all those people there. Just basically more of a I know that I've been through a number of hurricanes when I lived in Florida. We took a few light hits on some of them. We've had some damage on our property before. Nothing to the scale, absolutely nothing to the scale that that they've experienced through Dorian, but we have had some damage to our property in the past, and it's not fun. We went through one year, I think our last year in Florida, and that was one of the reasons why we moved up to North Carolina, was we just kind of got tired of it. Our last year in Florida, around 2015, 2016, we had 3 hurricanes hit the state in that year, and one of them cut through the state twice, and it cut through, and then a double back cut through again. So we got kind of a double whammy, and we kept the house boarded up until Thanksgiving. It was funny because my dad and his girlfriend were coming down for Thanksgiving that year, and I didn't take the boards down from my windows on our house until Thanksgiving Day, just before they got there. We took the boards down from the house because we just kept them up, because we kept getting hurricane after hurricane after hurricane coming through, and it's like, well, what's the point in taking them down? We're just gonna have to put them up again, basically. I think we lost a fence. We lost part of a fence in the first hurricane, and then I think the same one came back through and took down the other part of the fence. It was we lose a tree or something. We lost some. It did some damage to the roof, some light damage, but we got off pretty easy. We got off really easy. Some of our neighbors were not so lucky. Some of our neighbors got hit really bad. We lost power for a few days. Gas, I think we couldn't put gas in our car for a week because all the filling stations were down, and they couldn't get gasoline to the filling stations for a while, and it's not fun. It definitely was not fun, and definitely we didn't have it as bad as some people did. I mean, now this has been a very destructive storm. This was a deadly storm. I think the last I heard there were like 50 some odd people that were killed in this storm. That's pretty serious, and I want to say that this is I'd say this is one of the worst hurricanes I've seen come through in a while. It really has. It's been very destructive. I know, we were around when Katrina came through. As a matter of fact, I think Katrina was one of the storms that we had to ride out in Florida, and that was definitely unpleasant for us. Definitely really bad for New Orleans, but it was not pleasant for us either. But and this is the season for storms. I mean, and I have heard that this is we could be in for another one. We could definitely be in for another one. So that's something we all have to watch out for and be ready for. Now, kind of where I was going with this was this is not a sales pitch, really, but I work for, and just for full disclosure, I work for a company that we sell radios, buy2wayradios.com, and we sell radios, all kinds of radios, and for that kind of thing as well. We sell to businesses and consumers and ham radio operators, and I am a ham. We also sell weather radios. And I have written so many articles, and we have discussed on some of the podcasts that we do so many times about the importance of everybody having a weather radio for just this sort of thing. And I have a weather radio right here, as a matter of fact. We keep several. We have several that we keep nearby for emergencies and storms. In fact, one of the ones I have here, the one I have here on my desk, we keep handy in the car for emergencies when we're traveling, because it's a very handy radio for that. So it comes in handy for a lot of different emergencies, not just for hurricanes and tornadoes, but when you're traveling, it's important. But just for full disclosure, I work for Buy2Way Radios, and we sell weather radios. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because seeing the aftermath of this hurricane, and what I've seen happen is that after a hurricane or a storm, major storm hits like this, that's when we will get people ordering weather radios. And it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of I would say it's pet peeve. It's just kind of, it concerns me because what I tell people is that that's not the time. I mean, it's good that you order the weather radios, but after the fact is not really the time to order the radio to get weather radios. The time to get a weather radio is when the weather's nice, before something like that hits, because you want to be ready. You want to be prepared before the storm, because that's the whole point of having a weather radio, is to have something there for emergencies, whether it's a hurricane or a tornado or whatever it is, a thunderstorm that pops up suddenly. And I've seen a lot of people that we'll get these big orders for weather radios all of a sudden after a storm like this hits, and I'll come in next week and we'll have a whole bunch of orders for weather radios, which is fine. I mean, that's fine that people are thinking about that, but after it hits, it's a little bit late because the storm has already hit. The time to get a weather radio is before something like that happens. And trust me, if you live anywhere in the world, you're going to be hit with some kind of disaster, whether it's a tornado or a hurricane or a tsunami. There's no place on earth that's safe from some sort of weather emergency. There really isn't. An earthquake, and if you're in California, it's earthquakes. If you're in Florida, it's the Bahamas, on the East Coast, it's hurricanes. If you're in the Midwest, it's tornadoes. Snowstorms up in the Northwest, Canada, snowstorms and things like that. If you're in in Asian countries, some of the Asian countries there, it's tsunamis and earthquakes. And California, of course, is earthquakes. There's no place on earth that's safe from that kind of thing. So it's really good. Everybody should have one of these. And we have 3 or 4 of them in the house that we carry, that we have. We have one mounted on the wall downstairs, and I have a weather station down there. And I'm also as a ham. Tommy and I are both licensed hams, and we are we're both trained for weather spotting. We're both trained weather spotters, and we keep that. That's why we have a weather station down there, is to keep apprised of that sort of thing. But you just want to. I mean, you don't want to be paranoid, but you definitely want to be prepared. There's a difference, paranoia and being prepared. They're 2 different things, but you do want to be prepared. So everybody should have a weather radio, and this should be something like Dorian should be a wake-up call for everyone to kind of have something. Now, once again, this isn't really a sales pitch, but I'm just saying that because I do work for a company that sells weather radios, and my boss has said, hey, you know what? Give your viewers and your listeners a promo code so they can get 5% off for weather radio. If you want to purchase a weather radio from buy2wayradios.com, you can use Wine Show. I'm sorry. Wine's starting to kick in. Use the promo code Wine Show, and you can get an extra 5% off on a purchase of a weather radio or any kind of radio or any radio accessory at buy2wayradios.com. Now, once again, for full disclosure, I am the product manager for Buy2Way Radios. So just to let you know, for FTC disclosure, I do work for the company. But once again, you don't have to buy it from the company I work for. You don't have to buy it from Buy2Way Radios. Look, just get a weather radio. Whether it's from us or whether you pick it off the shelf from Walmart or Best Buy or whatever. I don't know who else is selling the radios out there. REI, whatever. Just get one and have one ready. Keep something in your car. Keep something like this. This is an ER310. This is a Midland ER310 radio. It's really cool. It's It has multiple power options. You can hand crank it up. It has a solar power option on it. It's powered by a lithium battery. You can also power it with alkaline batteries. It has a lot of features, but it's a weather radio. It gets all the NOAA weather channels. You program it for the NOAA weather channel in your area. And it's also an AM/FM radio. It has a flashlight on it. This model, the ER310, even has a dog whistle on it. Now, when I first saw the thing about the dog whistle, I thought, okay, that's weird, a dog whistle. But no, there's actually a lot of logic to that, because let's say, for instance, you get hit with a tornado and you're buried in a pile of rubble. They send the dogs out to try to find you. And this dog whistle is it operates on a very, very high audio frequency that the dogs can hear, so they can try to locate you and get you out of that rubble. Now, we had not too long ago, we had early this summer, I think, early spring, just in our general area, in the Ballantyne area, there were some $1 million homes out there, and a doctor and his wife that owned a home there, they were involved in a gas explosion. Their house just blew up. And he survived. His wife didn't survive, but he survived. And he was buried in the rubble. And he was able to call 911 because he had a cell phone with him. He's buried in this pile of rubble. And they had to hunt around to find him, to dig him out of the rubble. And it took them a little while, but he was able to give them good directions for that. Now, let's say, for instance, if he had something like this with a dog whistle on it, and they had dogs out there looking for him, they would have been able to pinpoint him maybe a little bit faster, but they were able to get him. They were able to find him, and he did survive. And I know it made national news, so you may have heard about that. But just the same, you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. So it's good to have something like this handy when you need it. And I'm just saying this once again. This is not a sales pitch. Like I said, you go anywhere and get a weather radio. You don't have to get it from us, from the company I work for. But I mean, if you do, you can use the promo code. But just get a weather radio. This storm was just it has been devastating. And in addition to weather radio, get yourself an emergency kit. Have one ready. Have an emergency kit ready, so you have one. So in case something comes up, you can put it in your car, throw it in your car, and take off. Have a radio. Have at least a 72-hour, 3-day supply of food. Have some spare batteries. Have some means of blankets, spare blankets, something like a little pop-up tent, that kind of thing. Have something so that if you get stuck somewhere, if you're in a situation where, let's say, for instance, your house gets hit with a tornado and you have nowhere to go, you have some means of survival for 3 days at least, or 4 days. They recommend. The government recommends at least a 72-hour supply of everything, so that you can do that. And if you're doing it for your family, add your family into it. Times 2, times 4. Just do it. It really is. And I didn't mean to go on a long rant about that. It's just that because I have a lot of family and friends in Florida. I have friends in North Carolina. I have friends in South Carolina. People have been personally affected by this storm. It kind of drives it home for me a little bit, and I just want to make sure I want to make sure all my family, my friends, everybody is safe. And this is not the last storm that's going to hit us. It really isn't. They're expecting at least one more big one. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's just what I've heard. But they're expecting another big one before the season's over, and the season ends in November. So there's still a couple months there. So just be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared. Let's see. I haven't checked the. Let's see. Where we go? Chi says Ford Fusion Hun. Right. Okay. She says the Milos are watching on YouTube. Hi. For the Milos, my wife and my daughter went up to Chicago last weekend. Tommy and I stayed here, and we were kind of roughing it here last weekend. But Chi and Tia went up to Chicago for her friend Tessa's birthday. And if you recall, if you were watching the stream last week, I was toasting Tess for her birthday. Unbeknownst to me, and I have apologies there was more than just Tess having a birthday. Apparently, it was a big birthday celebration for a number of people in her family and her friends. And I want to toast them all right now, too. And once again, Tess, if you missed it last week, once again, happy birthday to you, because I did toast you last week. But here's another one to my good friend Tess. I've known Tess for many, many years. She and Chi have been good friends for a long time. And I first met Tess when I was dating Chi. And she's a really sweet person. She really is. And I like Tess a lot. And I know that, I want to say, once again, Tess, thank you very much. And to your family, thank you very much for taking good care of Chi and Tia while they were up there. Chi and Tia went up there for Tessa's birthday, and they were there for about 5 days, 5 long days, because we were without my wife and my daughter for 5 days. Tom and I survived it. We did, but it was a lot to get through. But while they were there, they toured around. They went to Minnesota, went to Mall of America. They hung around, went to a state fair. They were telling me all the stories. They brought back a lot of goodies with them. And I want to say that Tess and her family took really good care of Chi and Tia while they were there. They were just such great hosts and hostesses. They just took them everywhere, and they just gave them the grand tour, and they were just so great. And I want to say personally that I really appreciate it. Now, Cheese calls me a sappy guy. I guess I am, but I want to say I really do appreciate the time and the effort that they spent to show Chi and Tia a good time. I want to say once again to Tess and your family and your friends, thank you very much for taking good care of them, and for showing them a great time. They really they came back with a lot of stories and a lot of good memories, and we're just so appreciative of how well you took care of them. I just want to say thank you very much. And here's to you. I am about halfway through. Oh, okay, maybe I'm a little farther than halfway through. Gina, you still watching? I am a little farther through, halfway through the bottle. And it's been a very, very good wine so far. Once again, Matt, I want to thank you very much. This has been a very good wine. Definitely worth the price. Definitely worth the price. The Saldo, once again, we're drinking Saldo. This is a 2017 Zinfandel. And you know what? I don't think it's actually a pure Zinfandel, because I checked around online, and let's see. I think I saw there was a little bit of a blend in here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. According to their own website, the Zinfandel is okay. According to the prisonerwinecompany.com, this is not 100% Zinfandel. This is 85% Zinfandel. It's an 85% Zin, 15% blend of a Petite Syrah and a Syrah. So, so it's not a full 100% Zin. And to be honest, I think that a lot of Zins are like that. I know that a lot of cabs are not like that. There are a lot of cabs that will be. It's funny because they can label it a Cabernet Sauvignon and still be, if it's 80 to 85%, it can be 80% Cabernet, and they can still label it as just a straight Cabernet, even if it has a mix of other things in it. If the cab has a mix of Merlot or Zin or Syrah, something like that, which can often be the case, as a matter of fact. And I know we're jumping back into wine, which is okay because that's what this is all about, right? It's the Saturday Night Wine Stream. So we're talking about wine again. Cabernet, a good cab, it's not going to be 100% cab all the time. It's going to be maybe 80-85% cab, and then you're going to have a little bit of Merlot mixed in sometimes. You're going to have a little, maybe have a Zinfandel in there a little bit of times. You're going to have a Syrah in there a little bit. You might have a blend of wines in there, but as long as it's an 80 to 85% cab, they can still label it as just a straight cab. That's what I've heard. So apparently the same as this. It's the same with the Zinfandel. If it's a Zin, if it's an 85% Zin, and it has some Petite Syrah in there and a Syrah, then it's technically a Zin because it doesn't mention that on the label. And as a matter of fact, if we go back to the label, let's go back to the label for a minute. Look on the back here, the label. It doesn't say Syrah and Petite Syrah. It says Zinfandel. It just says Zinfandel. So, and I don't know that that's necessarily deceptive. I mean, some people would say, well, that's kind of deceptive because if it's not a pure 100% Zin wine, then and the Zin grapes, then it's not a true Zinfandel. Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's I think it's still 85% Zinfandel. It's a Zinfandel. Look, if I'm 80% Italian and 20% Welsh Irish, does that make me Italian? I'm still Italian, and I am actually. I'm Italian. Savoia. It's an Italian name. If I'm 75% Italian and 25% Welsh Irish, am I still Italian? Yes, I'm still Italian. Yes, I have some Welsh Irish in me, but I'm still 80% Italian, so I'm Italian, right? A little bit of Welsh Irish mixed in. Semantics, maybe. But and what do I identify with? Do I identify with the Italian side of me, or do I identify with the Welsh Irish side of me? Well, you know what? I think it depends on the company I keep, right? If I'm around if I'm around other people who are Welsh Irish, I will say, hey, I'm kind of Welsh Irish, 25% of me. In this case, really 50%. 50% Italian, 50% Welsh Irish. But if I'm 50% Italian, I'm Italian too, right? I'm still Italian, right? So if it's a Zinfandel, 85% Zinfandel, it's still a Zinfandel. That's the way I look at it. Does that make any sense? Maybe not, but you know what? As the farther I get down to this bottle, the more sense it makes. I'm just saying. Let's see. Let's check the chat here. Jonathan says, ever try Carlisle Zinfandel Sonoma? Highly recommended. No, but I tell you what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down. Carlisle Zinfandel I'm going to check that out. Thanks, Jonathan, for the tip. I really appreciate it. As a matter of fact, if you have a wine that you like, that you would like for me to try, definitely tell me, just like Jonathan just did, tell me, give me your recommendation. I will definitely try it. If I've never tried it before, I will definitely purchase it and try it on the wine stream. I would definitely like to try it and review it and see how it is. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate the Carlisle is in. I will make a note of that. Jonathan Snyder says map. Okay, Jonathan says when Oren Swift was with Prisoner, he really put blends on the right. Yeah, I can't really get into that right now because it's already long. We're an hour and a half into the stream, but that is definitely a topic for another time. Thanks for bringing that up, Jonathan. We'll definitely talk about that at some point. Blends, and of course, a lot of if you've watched the stream for quite a while, most of the wines that I've tried are not true. Just with one grape. They are blends of different grapes. As a matter of fact, almost every wine I think that I've tried has been a blend of grapes to different degrees. So the question does come up with, well, which wines are true? Are you just straight, say, a straight Cab or a straight Merlot? I want to say I've had friends that have posted photos of grapes and let me just say this. My brother-in-law posted an image of some Merlot grapes. Sometimes it says, "Well, I hate Merlot. Here's some Merlot grapes," and I love Merlot. That's in fact, Merlot is one of my favorite types of wine. I love Merlot, but the thing is that how many Merlots are straight 100% Merlots that are all 100% Merlot grapes? I would say that probably not that many are, and I think they're even a Merlot is going to be a blend. Probably a Merlot Cab or a Merlot, it's going to be a little bit. There are not too many wines that I have come across that are just straight one grape lately. And it seems that in the degree of the blends are going to vary, but it's like the Saldo wine. It's a really good wine. It's a Zinfandel wine, but let's face it, it's not a pure 100% Zin. And I think that's true of the industry. And I did mention before that I was going to discuss that at some point. This is not the night to do it. This is not the night to discuss that. But I will say that I haven't had too many wines lately that were just straight one grape. They were a blend of sorts. And I don't know, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. I like the wine. I'm an everyman. I'm not a wine aficionado. I'm not a sommelier. I'm just an everyman that just likes to drink wine. And if everyone's blending their wines with different grapes, and if I like that blend, I'm going to drink that wine, right? The thing is about the sad thing about wine, I think it's kind of amazing and sad at the same time, is that if the blends are going to be different every time anyway. So you can have one blend, say with the same label, you can have a different blend for every year. And the wine's going to taste different. And I'm going too far down the rabbit hole right now. It's just too late at night to be able to have that conversation. But let's just say that I think there are more. I've tried more blends than I have tried straight wines with just one grape, and I'll have to say that the blends are going to vary, but they are going to be. I like this blend. I'll have to say that I like this blend. 85% Zinfandel, and I think it was what was the percentage here? Let me go back to it for a minute. According to their website, and I'm reading from their website, 15% blend of Petit Syrah and Syrah. It works for me. I like it. I like this blend. I can work with that. Let's see. Anything else in the chat on Ustream? Excuse me, on Ustream. That was a slip of the tongue there. I'm not on Ustream. No, on YouTube. And let's see. Okay, Facebook. Yeah, it's just starting to kick in. It's really starting to kick in. I'm not going to finish this bottle of wine. I'm sorry, Gina, but I do not want to finish this bottle of wine tonight because I am definitely going to feel it in the morning. I will say, I did say that I was going to try it with a cookie, didn't I? Okay. We'll try it with a cookie. This is ridiculous, actually. I'm just doing it for fun. This is just for fun, okay? Wow. You know what, Matt? This is actually pretty good with chocolate chip cookie. I'll have to say that. Maybe I've just had too much of this, but this is actually pretty decent with a chocolate chip cookie. I wouldn't do too much of that. Not a good idea, but it's actually actually pretty interesting. I like it, but then I have a sweet tooth too, so what am I gonna say? I did want to mention one more thing here: Green and Red Vineyard. My sister Gina, I don't know if Gina's probably probably already gone to sleep a long time ago, but Green and Red Vineyard, she suggested that I look at the Green and Red Vineyard, and I did. I checked out their wines, and I was really interested in trying, because she suggested that I try some of the wines from the Green and Red Vineyard, the Zinfandels and the Sauvignon and the Syrahs, and they do have a number of really decent wines that look pretty interesting. They're a little bit pricey for me. I like to try to keep the wines around $15 to $20 a bottle, $15 a bottle if possible, less if possible. I'm not the $2 Chuck type, but I'm just saying, just less, not too much. If it's a wine I haven't tried, I want to be kind of cautious about that. But I have looked at that. They have it's greenandred.com is the vineyard. And they have a 3-bottle special. I think you have to have a minimum. You have to purchase a minimum of 3 bottles. And she suggested that I try one of these wines and review it, which I'm okay with. It's just that there is a 3-bottle minimum, I think, for this. And they do have a 3-bottle special where they do 50% off. But it's just $78 plus shipping and handling. Now, I checked that out. By the time you get to the shipping and handling, it's $100. So I'm not sure that I'm going to do that just yet. I might try that. My sister has very good taste in wine. Both of my sisters do, actually. Gina in particular. And she suggested I try this out. This was a long time ago. This was an much earlier wine stream. But I have not written that off. I do have that. I still have that in my notes, that I want to try Green and Red Vineyard. But basically the minimum investment in trying one of these wines is the 3 bottle minimum, and I'm going to have to be spending $100 for. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's time for me to set up a Patreon account, trying to finance this wine habit that I have. But I don't know. I'm still up in the air about it. But Gina, just to let you know that I have been looking at that Green and Red Vineyard, and I have looked at their site a couple of times. As a matter of fact, I'm on there right now, and it is something that I'm looking at. They will ship. I just checked. They will ship to my state, to North Carolina. There are some states that they won't ship to, but I think they will ship to my state. It's just going to be a little on the pricey side. So we'll see how that shakes out. I'm a little up in the air about that, but it's something that we could check out. Their International Podcast Day. I did want to mention that International Podcast Day is coming up at the end of this month. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I do have one of the podcasts that I do, the podcast that I do for my day job, the Two-Way Radio Show, has been nominated for the International Podcast Awards. And we're pretty excited about it. That's kind of a big deal. I've been, as a matter of fact, my second podcast, I should say, The Force Field, was listed for 4 or 5 years in a row, was listed as one of the top 100 podcasts in the business podcasts by the small business website, the small business podcasts. It's been about 4 or 5 years, I guess, that we were listed as a top 100 business podcast, which was the first time that I'd ever really gotten sort of an award, so to speak, for a podcast that I'd done, which is kind of a big deal because I was listed up there with some other big podcasts like Clark Howard's show and things like that, and it was kind of a big deal for me because I was a Clark Howard fan, and there were other shows on there that were big, and that was listed by the website as one of the top 100 business podcasts out there on the net, and this was some years ago. But since then, I've done a number of other things, and this is the first time since then that a podcast I've been involved in has been nominated for an award, and that's kind of a big deal. The Two-Way Radio Show, the podcast I do for my day job at bytwowayradios.com, we were nominated for that award. Now, the awards are coming up on the 30th of September, International Podcast Day, and I don't know if we're going to win or not. Who knows? I don't know. But just the fact that we've been nominated is kind of a big deal because we're talking about, 157,000 podcasts, something like that. I don't remember the number, but it's a lot of podcasts. And we are one of 10 podcasts in the technology category that have been nominated to win this award. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. We like that. So whether we win the award or not, it's just kind of neat to be nominated. So on International Podcast Day, which is on the 30th of September, they're going to announce the awards. But what we're doing something different. Drink with Rick, I'm doing something completely different. I'm going to be doing a Drink with Rick marathon. This is completely unrelated to the Two-Way Radio Show podcast, okay? I just want to mention that. Little ego trip there. What little ego I have. But International Podcast Day is coming up, and I'm going to do a Drink with Rick marathon. And I have about 18 hours of Drink with Rick podcasts that I'm going to release, one every 2 hours. It's going to be about 18 hours long. You don't have to listen to it all. You don't have to listen to any of it if you don't want to. It's okay. But that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to culminate at the end of that into a special Drink with Rick wine stream. We're going to do a special 1 hour wine stream. This is really me. A special Drink with Rick wine stream that at the end of that series of podcast releases, I'm going to come on and do a special 1 hour live stream on September 30th, in the evening of September 30th. I haven't worked out the whole time thing yet, but it's probably going to be somewhere between 8 and 9 p.m. And we're going to celebrate International Podcast Day. And I hope you'll join me, because I'm going to give away some things. I'm going to give away some T-shirts. I'm going to give away a few other things. And join me for it. And maybe you'll win something. I think we'll all win. I think it'll be a lot of fun for everybody. But I hope you'll join me. But I at the very least, we're just celebrating podcasting in general. And that'll be September 30th, 2019. So I'll have more details as we get along, as we get closer to the date. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, we're getting close to the end of the stream here. I want to mention that you can watch the live stream even after we're no longer live. You can watch it at drinkwithrick.com. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. I think Twitch will hang on to the stream, the live stream, for about 30 days, I think is when it will happen. But you can also text me. You can, or I should say, comment on the streams. I will read your comments. If I read your comments on the next wine stream, on the next show, I might send you a T-shirt or something. We'll work that out. But definitely contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're drinking. Look, if you have any recommendations for things that you would like to see me drink, any wines, definitely send them to me. Send them to rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com. You can watch the stream, as I said, at drinkwithrick.com. You can also listen to the podcast. The podcast is at drinkwithrick.com. We're also on YouTube. We're also, the podcast is also on Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, Blueberry.com. That's BLUBRRY without the E's in it. Blueberry.com. You can hear us on your Amazon Echo. Just say, Alexa, please play, or Alexa, play the Drink with Rick podcast. You have to have the and podcast in there, or she won't be able to find it, apparently. You can hear us on iTunes. You can hear us on Google. Just say, okay, Google, play the Drink with Rick podcast. You can hear us on, I did mention Stitcher, yes. You can hear us on Spotify. We're on Spotify. We are in all of the areas where you can catch podcasts. You can hear the podcasts there. We're pretty much everywhere there. In the meantime, you can also catch us every week here on the Wine Stream on our Facebook page at drinkwithrick.com. Our Facebook page is Drink with Rick. Our website is drinkwithrick.com. Yeah, it is starting to kick in, isn't it? Where else are we? We're all over the place. We're all over the internet. Look up Drink with Rick. You'll find us. Hopefully. Now, there is one thing. There is That TV show, that cartoon Rick and Morty, that drives me nuts. It really does. I'm not a big fan of Rick and Morty per se, but I will find that if you type in Drink with Rick, you'll come up with a lot of references to Rick and Morty. I am not related to Rick and Morty. That's a different thing. That's a completely different thing altogether. I never could get into that. It's just something I couldn't get into. I think it's weird. It's not my thing. But you can, if you type in Drink with Rick, just go to drinkwithrick.com. You'll find me there. It's good. Anyway, so yes, it is kicking in. The saldo is good. Once again, we are drinking. Let's say dump it all. We are drinking Saldo. This is a 2017 Zinfandel. This is from I think it's from Sonoma, California. It is bottled by the Prisoner Wine Company, the same folks that make the Prisoner Wine and Pessimist, which I really do like. And if you look at the back, there is a Pessimist bottle here somewhere. Where is it? It's there somewhere. Whatever. Yeah, it's right there. And I really enjoy that wine. I'm enjoying this one. This is a really good wine. I do like it. I do highly recommend it. You can pick it up at winestore-online.com. They don't ship everywhere, to every state for legal reasons, but they will ship to a number of states. I know they ship to California because they've done that for me. It's the bottle is somewhat deceptively nondescript, but is definitely worth the money that you spend on it. As a matter of fact, I've seen some really fancy labels on wines that turned out to be rather disappointing. I think one in particular was the famous one. What is it? The Granapasso. The Granapasso, which has just a fabulous label on it. There's just a fabulous label on that wine. And I was really disappointed with that wine. I was not a fan of that wine. I just didn't like it. In fact, that was one of the bottles that I didn't finish. I think I poured the rest of that out down the drain. I don't do that very often because I love wine, but I've done that with the Granapasso, and I did that with the Cooper and Thief wine. I did pour, and that one I poured half a bottle out into the drain. That was how strongly I felt about the Cooper and Thief. But the Saldo, no, I'm keeping this one, whatever's left of it, and I'm going to finish that off at some point. And you know what? This actually goes good with a chocolate chip cookie. I'm surprised. Well, not too surprised. I like chocolate chip cookies and I like wine. So you know what? This is a good combination. Okay. I can drink this with a chocolate chip cookie. Just call me weird, but I can do that. Anyway, once again, thank you everyone for joining me on the wine stream. I want to say thanks to my beautiful wife, Chi, for being so patient with me. I want to say thanks to Matt and Jonathan and Ron and Trish and Molly and everyone who's joined me here. I hope I got everybody. I hope I didn't forget anyone. I didn't want to forget anyone. I haven't checked Gina. Of course, I don't want to forget my wonderful sister Gina, who I just adore. And I want to thank everybody for joining me on the wine stream tonight. I want everyone to join me next week. I hope everyone has a great week. And you can all join me next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. And we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.